is like the ASO team. I feel like EG plays more aggro early game, so they don't really want a weak scaling.
I think Maple might be. A quick question for you. How long have you been watching LCS?
How long?
I know, because I know you're in the Zoomer generation. When did you start watching?
I started watching maybe season 5 or 6 when TSM was good.
Do you know the tales of WildTurtle's first game ever?
Yeah, when he got a pentakill? Yeah. I might have watched that. Yeah. Maybe.
He subbed in mid-season, gets a pentakill. Now he's on the pentakill champion.
Is that the expectation?
I want to see, honestly. That would be high.
It's narrative.
That would be high. See.
I just appreciate that we have Aphelios Thresh in instead of Lucianami.
Yeah,
more interesting lane.
It's a little change. It's a little change. We're not.
Why do you see the change now towards Aphelios and Thresh specifically?
I mean, Thresh got buffed, so I also think teams are maybe getting a little bored of Lucianami. But I think Aphelios Thresh is a really, really strong balling if you can execute on it. I saw T1 play it. He just absolutely destroyed bot. So I think if you play to its fullest potential, definitely is way better than Lucianami.
There it is.
Okay, we got bot lane, Vi. Most likely picking jungle here, unless...
No
way. The ASO?
Waiting for it?
Jojo is not locking it in.
They're just going to keep covering it. Yeah.
I know him. He's not locking it ASO. He is just taunting them. But, I mean, even the jungle matchup is, like, very similar, right? Vi versus Sejuani, Maokai's getting nerfed this patch, so.
This is actually something I wanted to talk to you about because I remember, at least back doing draft meetings when I was coaching, the 4-5 is like the biggest mess to prep for because there's so many different things that could happen. But with so many drafts literally starting with bot lane and jungle, I feel this is probably like 70% of drafts.
Yeah.
Do you feel like 4-5 is more preppable now for how you ban to set up your solo lanes?
At least from my experience, I feel like 1-3 is more important now because there's so many bot matchups, right? There's like 6 different bot lanes you can play. Most teams just 1-2-3, bot lane plus jungle.
Yeah.
So I feel like 4-5 is pretty reactionary. You just want to see what the enemy pick and then you go off of that, right?
Right, and it's not like you can really predict exactly which bot lanes are going to be matching and which jungle pairings because they can. There's so many different variables there, so then it's still too hard to prep 4-5. Makes sense.
For TSM side, I really like the Sylas ban. I think they're trying to set up for something like an Ornn pick, so they can just straight go front to back. But that being said, EG has first pick options. I'm wondering what they would want to go for. I think they might want to go top first pick on second phase. Trying to think what that would look like.
Yeah, all mid lane bans right here. To me, EG wants to be able to front to back. Like, that's what everything is building towards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think traditionally you just want to play control mage with Aphelios Thresh. So. Yeah. I think there's a really high chance they 4P Victor, for example. I don't think there's any melee mids that Jojo could play. So it's either just, 4P Renekton, 4P Victor. So we'll have to see what Jojo opts into.
Sylas would have been the only one, but they banned that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's Akali.
Interesting.
I haven't really seen Akali recently. I think the pro, at least in LCS, has fallen off a lot.
Yeah, Aphelios is weak versus Akali, so there's a little bit of a block there, but that's tricky.
Yeah, especially going up against a Lulu comp.
Okay, they banned Maples to Leo, that's good. Otherwise, you would have just locked that in.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, I kind of want to see the ASO here.
It's banned.
Yeah, they banned. EG
I know, we're far away from the screen. It was banned. It was ASO, Ari banned by EG. Otherwise, that would have been the play.
It's a new champ.
Just let it ride.
Just used to it.
Okay, blind picking Gnar.
And the other Maple special.
It's a CLG special, actually. That is a CLG special. I actually haven't seen that in a minute. I know TSM played Galio with, I believe, Vulcan before.
Yeah.
Or they played Vi as well.
Yeah.
It's also a Maple special. Like, he loves playing champs where he just is able to go to sides really, really easily and not necessarily have to drop as many waves for it. So I'm not surprised to see that coming out for him specifically. And you already mentioned the Vi combo.
Who do you think won the draft on this one?
Ooh, we got the Renekton.
The Renekton into the Gnar.
Into the Gnar. I mean, some people think it's a skill matchup, 50-50.
If you get jungle pressure.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 2v1, of course, you're gonna win. But I feel like this draft is actually good for TSM because it plays to their strength. Because I feel like a lot of times they're playing for a lot of mid-game. I think their strength is definitely mid-game. Yeah. And Maple is really, really good at like pressuring side. He knows, when to push, when to help the team. So, I want to see him to work on this Galio.
Yeah, and I think that Akali's gonna have a tough game. Specifically going into Vi, Galio, hard to really enter team fights. And then if you're trying to get a pretty tanky Zeri, you have Lulu that will support her. Yeah. So I really don't see angles for her in team fights.
Yeah. I mean, this drop was supposed to be like front to back for EG, but
It's human nature to enjoy novelty, and I guess we've waited long enough for Aphelios to be out of the meta that now everyone's like, oh, thank God, welcome back. Whereas previously it was all 200 years meme.
Oh, yeah.
And Riot, please, design team, WTF, Aphelios, get the hell out of here. And now we're like, oh, thank God, Aphelios back. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Honestly, I think it's more of a, I'm glad Thresh is back, baby.
Yeah.
So much playmaking here, so fun to watch. We'll see how Vulcan can do on it. One thing I liked that they touched the surface of the maple point with Galio. Not only was Emily so right with, you know, Galio being a maple champion, but it is also his highest win rate champion over his 10-year career that has at least 10 games played on the champion.
What's the win rate?
At 77%.
Holy. 77?
Maple Galio is no joke. And remember, this man's been playing since 2013. Gamania Bears start, into the Flash Wolves, epic long career for himself. We'll see what he can get done this time around. Has the flash, has the aftershock. Roaming is paramount with this champion. Vi is a perfect pairing with this champion. The guaranteed Vi ultimate in onto Aphelios with calling Galio down upon you. We'll see if the Thresh Lantern is enough to protect FBI.
And not just to protect FBI, but I think in general, people are just wanting to see cleaner gameplay out of Evil Geniuses. They've had a lot of wacky moments so far in this split. They haven't been quite as on point as everybody would expect them to be for how good they've previously been. So I want to see how clean they can do this one against a TSM that is very solidly a middle-of-the-pack team.
I agree. Sorry, I'm distracted by the beautiful faces I just saw on screen.
Yeah, updated pictures now.
Yeah, I do. We're getting promo for ourselves now. So.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, it's also because we weren't on the screen at all because the desk did, not the desk, the lounge did the champions.
They're lounging, okay?
Yeah.
It's a relaxed, business casual setting.
Okay. We don't have to wear ties no more.
Exactly.
Okay, so Jojo's got control over the mid lane here nice and early. Here's our 3-lane view to see where everybody's at. Ssumday's currently in control of the top side with TSM's duo having everything pushed into the bottom lane there. Inspired, gonna make an invade towards Bugi in the jungle. The Sejuani looking to reset this blue buff, gonna allow it to reset all the way. So even if Inspired doesn't want to stick around and actually steal this, he has wasted a lot of time from Bugi.
And this is a perfect use of the tri-lane camera. Thank you so much, production, because it saw the double pushing lanes for them with mid and top lane, and you're just previously.
Oh man!
And we're just seeing Inspired work off this. If you look at him, he's got full support of both solo laners, because Ssumday on your screen here has got solo pushed up against the tower, and Inspired's chasing Bugi, ring around the Rosie, his own jungle.
Oh my God, this is the goofiest thing I've ever seen. FBI below 100 HP has to flash to escape as Turtle and Chime are putting the screws to him in bottom lane early.
WildTurtle and Chime are saying, why'd you pick Aphelios? Bring back the Lucian Na'Vi. That's why everybody handtakes the Lucian Na'Vi. This is amazing, though, for the bottom lane to have some pressure. Inspired eventually does finish up his invade, and Akali's a little short to follow, so 3v2 for now.
Ooh, Inspired flashing forward past him to get away from the taunt. Ssumday has to flash away now as well. Evil Geniuses spent way too much time messing around for a blue buff. The Poro tries to get away, but he's never going anywhere. Maple picks it up, and TSM get a 2-kill start.
Maple with the uppercut on that annoying Sejuani, invading Bugi for a good minute off of the double solo lane pressure. TSM have had enough. They defend their jungler. They make good on the collapse. Solo with the hop flash here on Gnar to further the chase. And a massive, massive punish on the overstay here. We were so focused on the bottom side with the camera moving down there, we didn't see the extended duration and being able to push it back out. This completely changes the story. Flowers, those kills went to the exact spot TSM want. The Vi, the Galio, the initiation.
And the important part is, specifically the Sejuani kill went over to Galio. So that blue buff that Sejuani spent all that time stealing away, well, now it's on the TSM mid laner, and he can just spam them spells all day long.
And one of the important things with playing Galio, why Maple has been so successful over his career, is sacrificing CS. Sometimes you have to sacrifice CS to make plays. Look at the minimap right now. He's sacrificing CS. Yeah, Akali's got it at her wave, but Maple comes first to the play. Pops his Aftershock on Inspired, so he's able to tank Ssumday's stun and chunk him so low. TSM only needed, what was that, 3 seconds of 3v2 time with Maple coming over first, and they're able to get big rewards for it. You mentioned the blue buff being traded. EG at least off of the reset here with their bottom lane move up, and they will get themselves the dragon in compensation.
That is a very early dragon. 5.5 minutes in means that Evil Geniuses is going to guarantee there's no handshake neutral objective trade, as we've seen so much in previous weeks of the LCS. Both games today starting off with some very early Drake attention. Infernal Drake not going to do a ton super early on because it just magnifies your damage, and you don't really have a lot to magnify until you've got some items. But hey, they're stacking.
Magnify on the tiniest little script there to make it barely readable for yourselves, but it's a good one to think about for later. And we do have Jojo level 6 now on Akali, so you can actually look for kill pressure on enemy jungle is what I'd rather see than actually looking to utilize it and burst in the Galio, especially now with junglers being a little bit lower level with the changes to experience. Bugi's still level 4 on the Vi, so if you were to find him around, full burst combo, and you bring your Sejuani along with you to stack up Sejuani stuns, that can be a deadly duo.
Yep.
Maple, though, now achieving his level 6 as well, can answer roam attempts.
And Akali just seems like a champion that very much fits JoJo's playstyle. It allows you to flex your muscles. It allows you to show off mechanically. And there's a lot of tools to go in and still be able to get yourself back out. So I will be especially focusing on him because I think for a lot of EG fans, JoJo's had some pretty serious underperformances in a lot of the games so far, and he's one of the biggest spots you can look at to step up.
And when we're looking forward in the game, I would expect a bottom side punish on no flash FBI.
Oh, FBI trying to get away. Still less than 100 HP. He will barely escape that one thanks to the cleanse. Turtle and Chime keep running the show here in the bot lane 2v2.
Yeah, Turtle with a frustration flash there. Once the lantern comes down and FBI is actually able to click on it, you know, if you're not able to block that lantern, then they aren't able to finish off the kill, but he flashes after to try and get Q auto damage to finish him off. And now it's going to be a reversal situation where it's an offensively blown flash, but that can also be punished. Zeri now, no flash, while the Aphelios one will come up much quicker. Solo, though, is under attack.
Solo could be in some serious trouble here if he stays around for a longer fight. Ssumday just sort of baiting him in here, just saying, hey, man, just come a little bit closer. They're waiting on Inspired. Inspired needs to get EXP from like 1 or 2 minions to get level 6, and then he can throw that Arctic Prison out from the brush. However, Solo is immediately just going to dip out. He's going down into the river. He'll be able to try to, you know, eat some fruits, just hang out a little bit longer, or start up the Rift Herald, and that looks like it's going to be the play. Bugi level 6, he's going to make his way up here.
Oh my.
So now the TSM duo can pick it up.
This is massive, massive stuff from Solo, using the roam down to go for Rift Herald. Not only do you avoid Inspired, who's waiting up here on Sejuani for 13 years, they also get a Rift Herald out of it. Holy moly, what a timing gap.
Feels good, man, for TSM in the top side of the map. Let's see if anything happens here in mid. Obviously, Bugi could try to engage on Jojo, but it's Akali with a Shroud. You're just not killing her.
That is the single biggest non-confrontational play that we've seen in a victory pre 10 minutes in the game in a long time.
Yes, sir.
Massive dub right there, because wasted jungle time to me, especially as a jungle, you're always just, it pains you inside, and it's a big objective picked up here by TSM. So where Bugi puts this Herald is going to have a massive effect if they can get it mid to be able to accelerate and unlock Maple on the Galio. You've got a flash ready and ult ready on Maple. He's at the top of the gold charts, ready to go. I was thinking that TSM would want to punish the no flash Aphelios as soon as they got Vi Galio combination ultimates, but they were unable to do so, and FBI now with flash back and available will feel so much more secure.
Well, you've got Bugi seeing if he might be able to succeed where Inspired failed at the top side. Bush Gang, flash to guarantee that he lands the Q. And now he's going to bring in the ulti to lock down the Croc. Ssumday's trying to run back underneath the turret. He gets a lot of burst back onto Bugi. Ssumday makes it a 1-for-1.
Yeah, nice little moves here from Ssumday. A little bit eager there. Bugi uses the flash for the engage and tanks the tower towards the end to go down in a 1-for-1. Plus, it signals to Inspired that no one else is going to have any sort of pressure towards bottom side. All he gets out of it really is that top side crab and Jojo moving up to tower, but definitely going to be not so bad of a situation for Ssumday. Nice little maneuver to get something back out of the gank, and a little bit of breathing room for the rest of the map for EG.
Yeah, checking in on sort of the status. Every lane so far nice and early here. You can see about 15 farm, the lead for Turtle over FBI in the bottom lane. An even larger advantage, though, for Jojo over Maple in mid. Part of it due to that CS that you talked about him sacking earlier to rotate up into the top side and grab those couple of kills. But it's about a 20 lead for Jojo over Maple in that head-to-head. Top side, also a pretty significant lead now for Ssumday, but that's going to be caught up a little bit with the wave crashing into the tier 1 turret. Bugi drops the Herald down here in bottom lane. All they're going to get is the charge. They will not be able to follow it up or pressure any more plates. But the second Drake of the game is live, and EG is immediately ready to look for it, but TSM ready to respond.
Yeah, interesting too. Look at the top laners. Both of them routing down towards the dragon, so it's gonna be a clash here. While EG are starting it up, TSM will respond.
Now, Solo just about has his teleport, but remember, nothing is unleashed yet, except for Evil Genius's playmaking, man. They just find the angle on Maple, blow him up, and that should guarantee they should be able to take this Drake, continue stacking those up.
Vision diff, baby. That's the advantage of getting there early. Vulcan early position, all these wards from TSM. They clear it out, Maple face checks it. Death sentence, true to the ability name in this case.
But there is no Drake being picked up after all. FBI and Vulcan see a lot of minions about to crash into the turret, so they want to get down there, not miss out on that money. You can see top laners heading back towards the top side as Jojo follows after the mini Gnar, posing a little bit of a threat to him, making him take a slightly longer way around. But bottom side, no Drake taken means that's still up for contest once everybody's back on the board. Maple ready to go here again. He's alive, he's got his flash, he's got his ulti, and he's got his jungler in the dragon pit. Bugi's starting it up.
Yeah, I always love that for Vi, being able to just go right over the back. But Jojo comes down, he sniffs it out, he gets a visual confirmation. Ssumday no teleport means it still should be a TSM objective, since Solo has teleport advantage. Even though it's pre-14 minutes, you can teleport to the tower. Everybody on the side of EG just reset and is walking from base, so TSM able to jumpstart that one. Bugi starts it over the wall, pick up the objective for themselves, and split dragons.
Yeah, Jojo saw it happening, but when you're in a 1v4 and nobody's around, hey, all you can kind of do is just say, yeah, I see you doing that, and I can't do a thing about it. So unfortunately for EG, no early Drake stacking coming online here for them. Those neutral objectives going to be all tied up now. As Jojo finds Maple, jumps back in after him here, but between Aftershock and Galio's natural magic resistance, it's pretty easy for Maple to walk that one off.
We've been hyping up this Galio combination so much with the Vi. I'm a little bit disappointed we haven't seen the combo itself effectively used already.
Yeah.
We're level 10 now on Maple, and the best play he had was actually pre-ultimate, roaming up into the river for the jungle collapse, rather than the Vi plus Galio. Meanwhile, you look across the board and you're thinking, where do we punish here actually? Renekton's the only one without flash, but Bugi's going bottom to get some deep vision for themselves. Vulcan and FBI have done a very good job conservatively stacking CS for themselves, not exposing themselves as a possible target to the TSM hardcore dive, and looks like that's going to continue to remain true.
So, you know what I want to see this game? Because Akali's Shuriken has that goofy interaction where she can follow anything across the map with it, I want to see her follow a Galio ulti. I want to see Galio get ready to jump up into the air, get marked with the Shuriken, and Akali follows it. Hopefully we get there. It is rather hard to do. You've got to have vision of the guy. You've got to time it right. So anyway, ult's going to get traded here in the top side between Solo and Ssumday. Gnar often just uses that ulti as a trading mechanism anyway, so Solo's cool with it.
Exactly. Meanwhile, low health might attract some attention, though. Bugi comes up. The Chemtech Rift is it is the most difficult rift to keep up your vision control, because there's so many of these plants spawning and they just constantly knock them down to one hit. Maple doing his best as well to fight back as everyone's congregating on the top side. Jojo just used his teleport, but he's going to walk his way up on Akali. This Rift Herald as well, going to be a little bit of conflict. Honestly, mid-push acquired by EG too. They can come right up the river.
Okay, well remember it was EG who took the first Drake, TSM got the second, TSM got the first Herald, and now it's Evil Geniuses with control.
Galio
for the second. Maple stuck here in the front again, has to flash away. Goes up into the ulti to buy himself a little bit longer, but FBI's got about 4,000 chakram spinning around. The Herald's about to lose its patience. Evil Genius is maintaining control over the area for now. Death Sentence does not find WildTurtle. Evil Geniuses still just trying to play this out slowly. Jojo's at about half HP. Everybody else in plenty good shape. Maple teleport back? Dead. He has to teleport back into the fight if TSM wants to try to continue something. But instead, Maple's teleporting into the bottom lane, and TSM are calling it off.
And you get the full releash there. Remember, they have adjusted Rift Herald to be able to fully reset health. So it's going to be a delayed pickup, but still a pickup for Evil Geniuses. Maple, again, sustains so much damage so early on. He's going Night Harvester Spell Pen shoes, so it is a very squishy Galio. Gets chunked out really early on. They don't get a impactful ultimate out of him.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
Do you remember back when Galio first got reworked into this Galio, how his Q was a meme bazooka, and you could just build AP and take like 60% of somebody's health with it? That's what the Night Harvester and the Spell Boots reminds me of. Unfortunately for TSM, it's not quite that powerful anymore.
Yeah. Okay, well, they do get the bottom tower. First tower of the game as well, so you got the bonus tower gold there for first tower in exchange for the Rift Herald being taken on the top side. It's a little something. Plus, look at this vision just populate the entire blue side jungle for TSM. So they're looking at some rotational gameplay here as Dragon's about to spawn. EG trying to retake in advance of Dragon spawning, so they've got time to work with.
Alrighty, EG. Let's see what it's going to look like. That gold lead that TSM had built up to around 1,000 gold earlier has shrunk back down.
Remember the benefits that EG got out of getting vision pre-Dragon setup last time around. If Vulcan can get into position early on. They make some pretty shallow moves here, though.
Quick reminder for those of y'all that don't happen to be looking at the screen right now, next game we are going to have Spica on as a guest here for the TriCast, so we'll get a little bit more insight into the mind of a professional jungler.
And a little bit more drama as well.
Yeah.
If he can instigate some...
Let's do it.
Some further conflict. All right, EG, this time around, Ssumday going to go catch the wave on top side. And Solo just now transforms back to Mini. He should have a little bit of time to charge up his Gnar bar and be able to threaten a more offensive teleport in.
Yeah. Well, we do have both top laners with unleashed teleports ready to go. Both mid laners are without their teleports. Jojo's is close to coming off cooldown, but still has probably about 45 seconds left to go.
And this is a pretty even fight. Everybody's sitting on one item. So I want to see the throwdown here. This is going to be about execution. Rift Herald used mid for mid push first. Love this from EG. Jojo going to stick around in range as well, but here goes initiation.
Oh, Bugi wanted to go for the Q flash, but he does not connect to the FBI, and he had to use the ulti immediately after, but Chime is already about to die, and Jojo gets him. Now Turtle's gonna try to kite it out. TSM have been absolutely crushed. Holy hell.
Disgusting from Evil Geniuses, and a quadra kill for Jojo. Flowers. My goodness, you could not get a more picture-perfect disengage from the Vi Galio combo. FBI gets Vi ulted into Galio ulted. Vulcan throws out the lantern. Space is just outside the Galio ult range. All that FBI has to do, take that lantern. They complete the re-engage turnaround. Here's another look. Ooh. Flash does not hit the Q damage, first of all. Then the ultimate. Vulcan just lanterns him back out, and then look at the re-engage. Inspired nails Chime. They go after him first, and it's a massive, massive AoE route there to lock all of TSM up. FBI, perfect disengage, then sets up Jojo for the quadra.
Man, 4,000 damage from Aphelios, 3,000 damage from Akali. Vi did almost as much as Thresh.
Yeah, no, Matt, that was absolutely disgusting there from EG. Clean, clean team fight. Completely negates the engage from TSM.
Wow.
And then swiftly re-engages. Now the map is wide open too.
Oh yeah.
Mid turret is down. They've got so much money off the reset. Who's gonna go fight Jojo? Nobody wants that fight. And even if you send multiple people, he's Akali. He has Shroud, he has Shuriken. He will get out. It's honestly, I want to see him just Medjai's that sucker up. That is a fully instantly charged Dark Seal.
I mean, he's 5 kills. He's up 35 farm. He's on a champion that has all of the agency and decision-making power in the world. Evil Geniuses loving where they're at after that. I mean, right before that fight, you were talking about how excited you were because everybody's on 1 item. It's coming down to execution. Jojo's got 2 now.
Yeah, perfect execution.
Yeah.
Say.
Yeah, almost. I see that. That's clever. That's clever. I like that.
Let's see what they do with it afterwards, though. Of course, the big tool we're hyping up should be this Jojo split push. When you've got a massive advantage like that, why is the color blue? Let's go yellow, so we're unbiased. TSM Arrow, oh my God. It's going to be the TSM Arrow of Doom, though, as Akali split push will be so difficult. Solo under tower, though, going to try and defend, doesn't have any magic resistance to his name, but under tower, Gnar, not going to be under threat of diving, so Solo will hold the line versus the split push, while the rest of Evil Geniuses do their best to put some pressure on the Fog of War here for TSM. Nice little ward, though. This is one of my favorites around Baron. It is the trickier ward to try and sweep because enemy team has to sweep inside Baron, but then you also kind of put a little ward at the gate. Yeah, make sure they have to over-index on Oracles plus a control. We're coming back onto the LCS stage after a long hiatus. It's interesting because we've had such a success story with Stixxay being an extremely experienced and an older player as well, coming back with a very long career and a long history. Yeah. And having almost MVP level performances for Golden Guardians, rocketing them ahead to a big win streak. So it kind of feels like TSM saw that and looking for a little bit of maybe replication in that area, you know, having that veteran voice on stage. Yeah. Zeri here, 2 items. See what you know, what they can do. Of course, Zeri is kind of playing cleanup in this comp, and Solo, he's the one with 3 members of EG staring him down. He clears the wave and calls for reinforcements.
Yeah, Vulcan wanted to do a cheeky play there, but wasn't quite able to find the opportunity with the Hex Flash. Tried to look for it, decided against potentially throwing their lives into the blender underneath that turret against the Mega Gnar. We do have about 90 seconds until that next Drake spawns. It's a 2-to-1 lead in that count for Evil Geniuses as well. Pretty much every metric in League of Legends, they're currently ahead by. So it will be up to TSM, as you said, to execute the wombo part of the combo perfectly. Because if they don't, it's trouble.
Yeah, and you're talking about throwing the kitchen sink, like everything. So probably even might be beneficial for Chime to, if he has to, flash forward to get the full combo of Lulu ultimate knockup after Phi ultimate into polymorph. Like, do everything to make sure you keep that kill target fully CC'd from 100% to 0. Yeah. Because as you said, if you let him move for a second, it is going to be disastrous.
Well, the problem is, too, FBI now on his 2nd item with the Aphelios, and once again, TY-based Freak, its 2nd item, Infinity Edge, along with the Bloodthirster, means if they do throw everything at Akali, Aphelios is going to be another problem they got to deal with.
Yeah. So trying to focus on the side lane, and we mentioned, you know, overloading one side. They send 4 members. Hey, if Jojo gets a little lazy here, pushes out, maybe we can grab that bounty. 4 versus 1, they could, I definitely like those odds at least.
4 versus 1's pretty solid odds there as long as you're on the 4 side. As Ssumday will knock down the bottom lane tier 1 turret, taking that one away from TSM. It is the 2nd tier 1 turret that Evil Geniuses have taken this game. Their 3rd turret overall because they got the tier 2 mid earlier as well after that big team fight victory. And with FBI and Ssumday both on the bottom half of the map, Evil Geniuses already has control and priority over the river to potentially be able to start the Drake up for themselves. That would move them to Soul Point. Jojo's going to go ahead, head back to base. I think they're waiting on him to be able to join up with the rest of the squad so they don't get caught off guard. Nope, never mind. He's going to stop the back, just go towards the Krugs, and the rest of the team will start it up without him. But it does not look like TSM wants anything to do with it.
Yeah, this is definitely the play here. Way too dangerous for them to move in now after that massive swing. And they don't have the necessary setup here. Honestly, they're just trying to make sure a bigger disaster doesn't go over. You give up the small objective, the dragon, it's only number 2, or only number 3. It's not Dragon Soul, it's just Dragon Soul Point. That buys you another 5 minutes where you're really just worrying around vision around Baron, because that would be a huge tool for EG to actually leverage inside of your base. Now we just revert to 4-1 split pushing, and both top laners do have their unleashed teleports. Both, of course, do have the capability of interrupting the other, so if you want to get away, you either have to be super deep under tower, or in Solo's case, gain a lot of distance back into Fog of War. But it doesn't look like there's going to be a full commitment over the Vision fight.
Not quite. Maple's going to step up into the lane here, trying to clear out the wave. Jojo will find him and clear out the wave himself. Looks like we're just going to get a bit of a handshake between these two guys, farming up the minions. Nobody's really looking to start up any fights just yet. I mean, top laners are down here on the other end of the map. They're just farming out the waves themselves. The Baron is live, but I don't think anybody's going to be trying to force that one down anytime immediately here. So where do you think our next bit of action is going to come from? What are we, what's kind of the sign of the times that we're going to get some blood on the ground?
Probably not going to get big action, at least if TSM can keep it the way that they want for a little bit of farming for themselves, unless there's a hard emphasis on pushing towards this Baron. There is a low-hanging fruit of a super low outer tower on top side for EG to push in and get, but TSM should not make a stand over that. That is lost money, that top side turret, so EG should be able to get that without a super hard push. And unless there is a commitment to this Baron, which EG could do before next Dragon, don't expect there to be the all-in, but we've got 3 members of TSM coming to defend that low-hanging fruit of the outer turret. Bugi's waiting around and threatening, so maybe they actually feel like they could pull the trigger. Inspire just misses the sweep on that Gatekeeper ward.
Yeah.
This is the most common one, by the way, outside Baron. You could do here on the other side, but then your Pixel Brush ward would see it if there was a control ward.
Right.
There's Galio ults.
Okay, Maple arrives to try to save Solo. They land the taunt on Jojo. They want to follow it up with the wallop, but Jojo, with a nice use of stasis there, manages to avoid any potential counterpunch from the side of TSM. However, TSM sending extra bodies into the bottom lane means that it does clear up space on that top side to take that tier 1 like you're talking about, and the EG lead builds up to 4,500 gold with 2.5 minutes remaining before that soul comes online. Although they bought themselves 5 minutes earlier, like you were talking about. They want
it, Pincer.
They're still under pressure for the rest of the game. Ssumday goes in. Sejuani ulti's not going to find a damn thing. Ssumday disengaging now as Maple's here on the front. Taunts up 2. Ssumday's low. Ssumday's gone. TSM finally finding a bit of a fight like they want. Turtle's pretty low. Has to kite back now. Be a little bit more careful. Evil Geniuses lose 1, and TSM wants to disengage. Turtle and Chime both incredibly low on HP.
Maple putting that AP Galio on full display. Nice escape from him, too. He uses the stopwatch into flash for the escape. Aphelios flexing here. FBI deals a lot of damage in the aftermath, so TSM not able to take advantage of their 4v5 extra kill that they got onto Ssumday and just have to retreat with the kill money. Means that there will be no flash for Maple, and that is going to be a little bit of a pain with the broken stopwatch very far from being upgraded to the Zhonya's. If our next big Dragon Soul fight does come down here, 1 minute, 14 seconds. Feels like a lot was invested in that last fight for only a kill's worth of gold, and there's a lot more for TSM to lose on the Dragon Soul fight now. Maybe they can still pull off a really big combo and engage without those tools, but it is definitely going to be put to the test by EG. Them saying, oh man, we only lost some low quality flashes there. We still have our flashes on FBI and Jojo. They are ready to force here.
Well, here we go. 45 seconds is all that's left. Nobody has any insane river control just yet. You can see a couple of wards straggling around there from both sides. One of them going to be cleared out by TSM. So it's Evil Geniuses who are going to have to check into the dark right now. TSM staying mostly grouped up. Jojo's separated slightly from the rest of the team, always looking for that flank, always looking for that pincer attack. Now trying to group back up a little bit. Keep your eyes on WildTurtle. The Zeri is going to be very, very important if TSM wants to be able to find a win in this upcoming fight, as Evil Geniuses still control the river. Look at the shield on FBI, man. Between Bloodthirster, Overheal, this guy's got about 1,000 HP worth of extra protection on the top of that health bar. Solo's gonna lead the way. Vulcan drops the box. Evil Geniuses keeping their distance. Ssumday and Jojo looking for opportunities to collapse from the sides. If the core 3 of Inspired, Vulcan, and FBI get jumped on, TSM stepping up again. Vulcan finds the death sentence, and he finds it onto Maple. Maple tries to get away, but Ssumday's ready and waiting, and the day is today. Jojo is dominating, and Evil Geniuses are running him down. WildTurtle stuck in the middle of everybody, and it's a double kill for Aphelios. Bugi and Chime head for the hills, and Evil Geniuses heads towards the Baron. Bugi still tries to get away. They know if they can just pop him, there's no chance of losing this thing. Jojo doesn't have enough to kill him all by himself. He'll join back up with the rest of the team, and EG gets another big win.
Yeah, a nice bit of patience for EG pays off, Flowers. This Baron is easily going to be theirs, and then they can kind of reset, get back to the other side of the map. Jojo doesn't have teleport, and he's going to show top lane, but there was no Hail Mary play from TSM to go rush this dragon. There's a lot of vision here still for EG that will see their transition over. I'm kind of curious what's happening on live right now if they're going for that objective bounty shutdown, but it's basically same place, same vision advantage. Death Sentence into Sejuani ult, into FBI ultimate. Aphelios does 90% of Maple's health, and then Jojo finishes it off. So again, huge work being done by FBI. He then, again, Gale Force is in, making good use of this purple gun throughout this game, gets a double root that time around, locks up the kills, and then EG are able to reset with the Baron-empowered recalls, collect their Dragon Soul on top of it, and Evil Geniuses. Some clean team fighting, some big rewards picked up by the Akali, but I really do have to say, FBI making such good use of this Aphelios with multiple guns.
Yeah.
Gravitum, Infernum as well, having some pretty big impacts in both of the meaningful team fights that they've had. And I'm liking the Thresh that we're seeing, Flowers.
Yeah, Vulcan, 0-0 and 8. Perfect support score, has been a part of 80% of his team's takedowns thus far. They are nearly 7,000 gold ahead. They've got Baron for another minute and a half, and it's FBI and Vulcan leading the charge down the top lane. They've already got 4 turrets compared to just the 1 of TSM, and the number climbs to 5 as FBI knocks over the tier 2 up in top side. The only structure left standing outside the TSM base is the tier 2 in bottom lane.
And Jojo going for death cap pieces instead of upgrading to Medjai's. That is the only thing I'm disappointed about right now.
You wanted to see the book.
Yeah. Solo, meanwhile, is going to be solo versus 3.
Well, let's see what Bugi can do off to the side. Inspire's going to try to reinforce him. FBI getting back here with a Gale Force, but he won't get back enough. There is exactly what TSM needed.
Solo was just a distraction, Flowers. They get the engage. Exactly. They get what they wanted. EG bottom lane down. We've done it again. Aphelios cursed instantly.
We have too much power.
He had an full extra item as well. EG definitely giving a small window open to TSM. Let's see how much can they get back. The Dragon Soul plus 5k gold is quite the hill they have to walk up, but they will get an objective bounty shutdown for themselves, and they are still salivating at the possibilities of shutting down Jojo too. Full stacked bounty on him if they can ever topple that Akali, which is very difficult now that the Zhonyas plus the Flash are all ready for him. But that would be the dream scenario.
I just don't see it happening, man. Between smoke, between Zhonyas, between having two-part dashes, there's just a lot of ways for this man to get out of trouble unless TSM just perfectly layers it to knock him down. 3.5 minutes till the Elder Dragon spawns. Also remember that with the Kimtech Soul, they're even stronger when they're below half HP for the guys on EG. Jojo's coming around from behind. They're looking to maybe take out Solo here. Maple is ready to try to stop Jojo on the flank, but Jojo just walks right past him, says, get out of my way.
Good.
And, hey, Solo's at least able to get out. That's all TSM wanted.
Exactly. Good collapse there from TSN. Maple coming up, trying to provide the screen for him to get out. Make sure you don't get stuck alone. He did a good job distracting the rest of the members last time around to open up for the Bugi hard engage. And we'll see. EG waiting on that Aphelios flash. They don't want another full confrontation until FBI has that ready. Make sure that they don't give any more leeway to this TSM squad, because TSM whacking away at this gold lead, chipping away, getting some of it back, and they will throw it all on the line for next Elder Dragon, or possibly even a Baron setup. The Baron will come up a little bit ahead of time.
Yep. About 40 seconds desync.
I think we'll wait for the all-in until Elder, though.
I mean, TSM has managed to cut the gold lead that Evil Genius has had from about 7k down to 4k. That is substantial, but it's still about this Akali. It's still about this Aphelios. WildTurtle with 3.5 items has the last Whisper, but has not had enough money to get it upgraded all the way. Chime's going to get found out. Inspired, unfortunately, doesn't have any extra firepower behind him, so he goes fishing, and even if he gets a bite, they can't reel him back in time. As they go for a death sentence there with Vulcan. FBI still just providing the damage. This guy is so scary, man. Just look at that. That was 3 auto attacks of the fire just managing to hit Maple. He's half health.
Yeah. I still can't get over how big these shields are, too, on the AD carries nowadays. Meanwhile, Gnar pushing away on top side. Solo at least will get the wave pushing away for TSM while they try and just mitigate losses at the moment. Kind of accomplishing that goal here. Now, though, the flash for FBI is available, so EG ready to set up for the Omega objectives.
Oh, boy. They've got the flash. They've just about got the cleanse back on FBI. He's got the stopwatch. Jojo's got his own stasis. He's got his flash. Everybody except Vulcan has flash ready to go on the side of EG. Same story being told for everybody but Chime on TSM. Chimes is about to come back up here very, very soon. You can see Inspired's ulti also almost ready to go again. So when he tried to make that pick earlier on Chime, it didn't really end up punishing him that much for not having the follow-up because, hey, it's going to be ready in time for either one of these uber buffs that the teams decide to fight over. FBI confident, knowing he can step up and clear those waves because he has the Thresh Lantern right behind him.
Yeah, and EG trying to use their Akali power for the 1-3-1. Nice job. Jojo pushes up this minion wave. There's an open inhibitor here, so that is huge pressure there. Going to be mounting as they transition into Baron, and now we'll look for the pick. Vulcan.
All right, Vulcan gets the death sense. It's only on to Solo. They throw out Sejuani ulti. They don't find a lot. Bugi's going to be the target here in the very front as Baron is already secured by the evil geniuses. Jojo's in the middle of everything, but Aphelios' ulti nearly one-shots Chime. Jojo stays alive, and EG's now looking to turn this fight back around. FBI is the target. FBI is the man with the plan and about 1,000 health shield. TSM walking down into the bot side river. They now have their eyes on the Elder Drake. Jojo went back. He's got to rejoin with the rest of the team. Chime still half HP.
Exactly. As soon as Jojo does not land that shuriken for the chase, he starts channeling his Baron Empowered Recall. Will come back.
Okay, Ssumday decides to engage on WildTurtle, but now he's ready to maybe turn it around. Ssumday has the ball. Malmortius Stolen with a massive Mega Gnar into the wall, and now TSM's looking for a team fight. Stolen keeps chasing. FBI's under pressure, but he's stuck into the stasis. TSM has found the enemy Aphelios. They've got Jojo stuck in the smoke. He'll barely get away. And Maple and TSM just got free for free.
What was that? EG, Ssumday, they move up, they engage while Jojo is walking back from base, Flowers. Jojo walking back from base, and TSM are going to be able to get the Elder Dragon. They have to teleport to defend Nexus Storage.
Jojo's just looking for a potential harassment of the enemy base. He's going to force Solo and Maple to come back and stop him. However, the remaining 3 players of TSM, between Bugi tanking it and having the smite, and then WildTurtle for the DPS, they will secure the Elder Drake here. I like the move from Jojo to try to get something back. But holy cow, man, the fact that TSM managed to pull that off was huge.
Big props to the turn here for TSM. EG walk up. They give too much space during this small timer where Jojo's walking back from base, and TSM wastes no time. Look at this. Solo charging up his Gnar bar. WildTurtle pelting Ssumday. Ssumday flashes in. Look at the minimap. Jojo's still in the jungle. So once Solo gets his Mega Gnar, he does not hesitate. Giant punish there. They tried to flash on WildTurtle, and TSM ripped them apart for it. That is exactly what TSM needed. Massive stuff. And as you know, even though Jojo gets away, TSM are able to get the Elder. They defend their Nexus. And now, right back out onto the map with the power of this Elder, they actually get to collect a lot of money for themselves. Now only 2.3K, the gold lead for EG.
Evil geniuses, more of that shakiness, more of those strange happenings when they get these leads. Their gameplay hasn't been super clean so far this split, and they seem to be falling into that same rut again. TSM now pushing up. They've still got the Elder for another 75 seconds, and they're going to use it to strong-arm EG away from their Tier 2 turret. The gold lead that was up to 7,000 10 minutes ago is now down back into the triple digits.
Yeah, objective bounties means blunders late game are incredibly punishing. And you have to remain vigilant. That's why you are so heavily rewarded for these punishes, these turns, like TSM just took. If Ssumday flashes in on WildTurtle, you defend him, Solo finishes off his Mega, they turn it around, and all of a sudden, They're the ones in the gold lead.
Holy cow. They've also caught up in terms of itemization on the carries. WildTurtle is now at the same power point as FBI.
This has been TSM's focus all year long with this squad, with this roster. Every interview they talk about it, focusing on consistency, strong mental, focusing on your win condition, never altering their path. And now the Elder Dragon will run out in 18 more seconds, and EG will actually get a rebuttal here. But TSM so happy with the case now. They can actually, let's see, Inhibitor going to respawn pretty soon. Then they won't have to deal with the extra pressure of the super minions on top side, and they can actually get their push back. But you mentioned the Zeri. Bloodthirster now completed. That is a full item Zeri.
Holy cow, man. This is potentially a very scary situation, but Bugi has been caught. Nice death sentence. And they're going to force the Guardian Angel. He's going to lose it for free. The item ends up being entirely worthless. Bugi, that was bad, man.
That was terrible. That is the majority of the value of that item, all in the resurrection. Evil geniuses make the pick, Flowers.
Yeah. They are walking down mid lane now. There is one Nexus turret standing. The inhibitor is still dead for another 60 seconds. EG might just try to force the end of the game right here. TSM has to regroup. They got to be ready to go for this.
That play will be known as the pick in TSM reviews if they lose off this.
FBI trying to stay away from the damage of WildTurtle's laser. Jojo wants to try to threaten everybody away from the tier 3 turret. TSM falling back. The mid lane inhibitor exposed. TSM still have 15 more seconds before their jungler is back alive. They're going to lose the inhib in mid lane. Just as the top lane one is only 30 seconds away from respawning, they lose mid instead, and EG's not done. They want to try to turn this into an inhibitor turret bottom side as well. Solo's going to try to keep them back as long as he can. Narvar is charged. He goes in, but he won't find FBI. Inspired similarly misses his own ulti, so both teams' attempts fall flat. EG backs away. They've got that mid lane inhibitor down. Top lane inhibitor's about to respawn. They take off about half HP from the bot lane turret.
Yeah, EG caught what they came for. They just want to reset now, so a lot of defensive maneuvers there, just trying to disengage, make sure TSM don't chase them down in the scramble, and they'll get to go reset, spend their extra money. Now the top inhibitor has respawned, but mid inhibitor being taken means they can just go towards the exposed one on this side. Lord Dom's finished up here for FBI, so he too is a full item AD carry, and we'll see about Jojo on the flank here.
There are 6 items on all 4 carries in this game. One of those items on Jojo is the Medjai's Soul Stealer, so not quite as high quality as a lot of the other ones, but he still might be able to find it if he can get the angle here. WildTurtle gets engaged on, but they're still disengaging it for now. Solo's stuck in the middle. He goes into stasis. EG still trying to find an angle, still trying to find the move. Maple goes into the taunt. They find a lot, but are they able to find enough? WildTurtle is down. Jojo's able to find the credit. Chime's on the run, and that will do it. EG is gonna take the game.
The assassination is complete. EG will walk straight to the Nexus.
Evil geniuses walk this one in. Honestly, you gotta know they're not happy about the way it went down. They nearly threw this game. They come back and they win it, but they're still having to figure out so much here this split. They will get the dub. They'll go up to 8 wins. And man, it was a fight getting there.
It certainly was. And that pick on the Wolf camp for Wolves, Flowers.
Yeah.
Definitely a big, big move for EG to retake control. Good execution.
That one back.
Good execution still in the team fight, to finish it off. That's what got them here. Jojo goes the whole game without dying on the Akali.
Yeah.
Finishes deathless, legendary 902.
It's troubling though, man. Every EG game, I feel like we're seeing these bizarre throws, these things where they're in total control and then they lose that control. Still a lot to work on here for these guys, but gonna be happy to take the win here.